Okay, we just went through the sections area of the editor, and now I want to go into components. Now, before we go into components, let's take a look at this top area. You've got what the page will look like if you're in the desktop view, tablet view, or your mobile phone view. You've also got column mode or component mode. I'll show you what that is in just a moment. Over here you've got an undo, you've got a preview, a save page as a template, publish it live, or return to dashboard. If you publish live, it will automatically save it. All right, so let's take a look here. It says we're still using our test page. If you drag and drop a section here, what that means is we need to start out with a section first. So let's just put an empty block in here. Now it says drag and drop a column. So now if we go back to components and we look at our first choice here, we've got columns. 100%, 66%, 50%, and so on. You can work your way down this and take a look. All right, so let's pick 66 and 33 here. Notice there's a plus sign. What you want is to drag over the line until it changes color and then let go. All right. Now, if I go into component mode and I click on it, I can see my columns right here. If I click on it, I have these little handles I can draw to adjust these columns, this one in particular, left and right. All right. And then you can also set backgrounds and things like this for just this element, not the whole thing. If you want to set the background for the whole thing, you go into here to this little gear on the side, and then you say image. You can say parlay scrolling, or if you want, put some kind of background behind it. We'll apply that. You can see what I just did there. So I'm going to delete that background. Actually, let me do this. Unselect, confirm, apply, and that removed it. I can delay the section, this whole section from showing. I can say, yes, I want to activate it, and then I can say, don't show this section until, say, 800 seconds. If my video's, 20 minutes long, I can count up the seconds for those minutes. And then I can say, do I want it to show that section on every visit or only on the first visit? So if it's the first visit, they won't see this section. If I set this to, say, 100 seconds, they won't see it, this section, until 100 seconds shows up. Now, where is that useful? If you're a beginner learning about building pages, sometimes you want to hide a button. Sometimes you want to hide an order form so you don't raise suspicion that you're trying to sell somebody something, because people will automatically go into defensive maneuvering if you do that. So sometimes we want to hide elements on a page, and you can hide as many as you want, and you can set them all at the same time or whatever, or activate them at different times. And once again, you can have it only hide it the first time, or you can say hide it every single time. So I'm going to shut that off. And you can say display to everybody, display only to people who are subscribed on a list. This is a brand new feature, by the way. This is April 10th, and they just released this today or yesterday. Display only to those not subscribed to a list. Display only to those subscribed to a sequence. Display only to those not subscribed to a sequence. So where this might be useful is if you have this as a searchable page and Google promotes it to the world out there, you may not want them to see your pricing if they haven't been through some of your videos. You know, I have several pages that are educational pages with bonuses attached to them, and I may not want them to see the pricing on that page if it's available to everybody in the world, in the population. Display only to those subscribed to a tag, display only to those not subscribed to a tag. So you can really target when to show this and when not to show this. So that's a very cool feature. All right, so that's your configuration with your columns. Now let's go into some other things. You can do headlines. Look at all the different choices here. You can scroll through those, pick one that really stands out for you. Save you a bunch of time here. I kind of like, I think it was this one here. Let me just put that one in here. This one kind of looks like a highlighter. That's why I like it. And you just, what happens is if you're clicked on this column mode, you can't click into getting text. So you have to move it back to component mode. Now, fortunately, they switched the default to this because 99% of the time that's where you are. And so now you can I can just go in and edit. Oh, and notice that there's two. There's the block itself, which is, sometimes this is a little bit tricky to get your hands on. This is this one here, so I can change the background color. Or I can go into the text, which is this one. Right? Or, and same with this, you've got this headline, and you can just go in and type. Helps if you can type. All right. All right, so we've got this little section that we've dragged out. Now, every once in a while, you probably want to save just so you don't lose your work. And then you can put in a top menu if you want. I think I'll just drop that in there just so you can see it. I probably wouldn't use it. You can do a hero section. I kind of like the you know, these are good because they have a lot of backgrounds and colors to them, and they're very similar to the download components. Actually, let's go into components here and we'll keep playing with that. So we've got headline, we've got text. Now let's look at text. So text is just a block that you bring out, and we can put in our text here. And I can go in and I can change, oh boy, I can go in and I can change the size here. I can say I want that 1 point instead of 0.6 and so on. And I can center it. See that? I can center this text if I want to. Pretty straightforward and really simple to use. Another component, I can add a button if I want to. So let's go ahead and drag a button down here. Again, I drag it until I see it highlight. I click over the top, and that gives me the editor command. I want to center this. I want to come down here and apply that. Maybe I want to change to download now. Yes, down. Check different fonts. A lot of different choices here that you can pick from. I think they've included in here all the Google fonts. Really powerful. You can say make it bold. Apply here. You can attach an icon to it. You can type in, say, what do we want? Maybe this thing that right angle thing that shows up there. We put that in there. And then we can change colors of the text and all that if we want to. I can link to another page. I can create an opt-in pop-up button if I want to. I think I showed you that earlier. We'll just pick this first one here. I can say done. And when I go review it and I click on this, that will pop up as my main piece. All right, and then going back into components, let's say I want to create a list of bullet points. This is the one I use mostly. I can go in here, I can drag that over, and now I can just change this to, to edit my text any way I'd like to. I can even go in and change these if I want to. I can use a check. I can have credit card, check with a circle. Never seen that. Let's try that for a second. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, there you go. All right, now the reason that menu is covering up my screen is because I've shrunk down my browser so I could record this with my Camtasia recorder next to it. All right, so anyway, you get the idea. You can change these bullets. You can start modifying things the way you want. If you wanted to put a testimonial over here, you could do that. Or just an image. Let's just go in here to, I could have a video there. I could have a image. Let's say I want to drag an image in here of my product. I can do that if I want. I can go out here and look for an image. Let's say I want this tool that I give away to show up. You get the idea. All right, so very nice editor, really super simple to use. Let's look at this edit for a second. I can have an image as my background. Here's a background pattern that I could pick. I could say make it dots, and I could, well, right now it's transparent, so you can't see anything, but let me just see what happens here with this red. Obviously that's not very good. Hexagon. All right, so what it's doing, you can see these little hexagon things, but what I want is something a little less intensive, and I'm going to back down the transparency there. Now it's very subtle. The yellow kind of highlights my yellow here, so that looks kind of nice. I can leave that there. I could turn these into green if I wanted to. These right here, I could go in and say make this like a, let's find a softer green, maybe not so intense. Apply, see what that looks like. Anyway, so you get the idea. It's very simple to modify things. Of course, you get too many colors, it starts looking pretty bad. But anyway, I'm just trying to give you an idea of how this component section works. Now, there's a lot of other aspects of this. You've got accordions that you can set up to display different types of information. So if, let's say you have a really long sales page and you want to put an accordion on the page, then you can do that. You can just drag it in here and we can look at that. You can expand and shrink, built right in. You don't have to, you could just change the text. It's that simple. Click on it. Sometimes that is a problem, is getting it to highlight the actual part that you want to highlight. So I can go in here, modify this text and change it to whatever I want and so on. Right? I'm going to delete this because I don't really want it on our page here. I just want to show you some of the different tools. So you've got icons. You can set up icons on a page, different sizes of icons. I think you can even import your own. You've got different types of list. You've got ones here with, let me close this so you can see this. You've got different images here. So if you have very specific, I know in my martial arts program, I've got some very specific icons I had made just for my product, right? And let's see here. I want to delete that. Okay. Components. So we've got mock-up compositions, so you can drag in if you need an iPad or a mobile tablet with a mobile phone, different versions of it. You can have it here and then replace that with something. It'll automatically put it in there for you. I mean, that is so cool. Placeholder, so you can just drop it in. Different ones, right? You've got, of course, dropping in videos. Now, notice this one, it has like different types of borders and shadow effects. You've got a shadow effect here, a shadow effect here, a double shadow effect. So you've got different types of videos. Now, one thing I have not investigated is whether or not if there's different types of what am I trying to say? The video players. You know how some of them have, like, which I really like, when they have a 15-second rewind, so you can re-listen to something somebody said instead of trying to drag it back and going back 5 minutes instead of 15 seconds. But I think when we look at the it's not on this page, but when we look at the video editor, the upload, I think we'll see it there, whether or not we'll have that. All right, and so then you got separators. You can choose different separators. Just, that's what's so cool about Kartra, is it's so easy and so straightforward what you're after and what you're looking for. So if we want to add a nice little timer to our system here, we can do that. We can highlight over the top, click on the pencil, and then we can say, is it the countdown ending, is it based on a landing date? Is it dynamic? Is it based on a sequence subscription, which is fixed? Is it based on a sequence subscription, which is dynamic? Based on a list subscription, which is fixed? Or based on a list subscription, which is dynamic? Based on a tab subscription, fixed? Or tab subscription, dynamic? And so on. So you got some really good choices here. I think I use this dynamic one most often. I can say, make it for 5 days. Sometimes I don't like using East Coast midnight time. I don't know why people think East Coast is the best one, because it's easier to do Pacific time when it comes to that. So I might say, 5 days and 4 hours, which equals midnight Pacific time. And then you can redirect them and then set up, again, you can say a regular URL or a Kartra page. So again, you don't have to go searching for your page. It's just right there. You just pick it and you run with it. I have all mine set up. So if I pick a Ed Farragon coaching page, I can say a thank you payment page or whatever my thank you page is. And then I can say apply. So when the timer runs out, send them to this page. Or let me give you another example that is useful. I know the Safe Talk one, I think I have a redirect to a thank you page here. So anyway, you get the idea. You redirect them if you want to, and then after that time is up, and that way you are legitimate. You're not setting artificial parameters on people, because they'll get upset with you if they show up and they can still buy it when you told them they couldn't. All right, so that's the timer. Now, one thing that is a little bit of annoying. So here you can send the redirect, right? Whatever page that you send them to. So if I have an order form, let's say this is an order form and I'm sending them to this other place. In fact, let me, right here, I can send them to a higher priced order form because they missed the deadline, or I could send them to a sales page. I have a, no, that's not the one. I have a couple pages in here that I've been taking out the sales pages and reworking them, so they're not showing up here. But anyway, let's say you have a sales page here that's a full, long form sales page instead of a video sales page, or even a video sales page. You can have it redirect with new messaging. What I did was I took a thank you page and I modified it and said, sorry, your time has run out, but if you're still interested, you can go to these areas. And that seems to be working really well. I just wish I could remember. I think it was under. Anyway, I don't want to hold our video up for that reason. So let me just get out of that. But you get the idea. Now, here's what I was going to tell you. That whatever page you pick here, if your timer has expired, when you go out, I'm going to save this just so we can get back to where we were so I don't lose you. When we save this and we go back to the dashboard, this page, whatever, if the timer has expired, you will see the page that it goes to once it expires, which is very annoying to me, but that's not a showstopper. But you just remember, if you're looking, like, I know what this page looks like, and I know what this page looks like, and I know what this page looks like, but if I'm not seeing it and I'm wondering where it went to, it could be hidden because Kartra for some reason shows me the page that it redirects it to instead of the actual editing page, which I think is annoying. So if you come on board and you get in here, make sure you go to the request list and request or vote for changing that particular feature, because I think there's a lot of people that don't like it, not just me, but it's not a showstopper. You can still get through it. You just have to remember that for now. I'm just trying to save you a little time and not be surprised. All right, so let's continue on our components here. You've got countdown timers, you've got boxes. Now, one of the things that you got to remember right now, I hope they'll change this someday, but let's say I want to have my text wrap around an image. Well, right now you can't do that very easily. So what I have to do is drag out my text here and then put my image. Let's go back to components. I'll put my image in here, and then I can fake it and make it look like it's wrapping around this image. Now, to me, that's a little bit cheesy. It works because I haven't had to use it very much. And, I hope at some point they'll build an editor that's a little bit more robust when it comes to dropping in images instead of this kind of deal. I'm used to Thrive Themes, which has a really nice editor for building pages, and you can just drop a image in and it wraps around automatically, so it's really sweet. But I thought I'd let you know that just so there's no surprises. It took me a long time to figure that out, and hopefully you can rewind this and watch that again if you know that you're going to need that for your sales pages. I'll delete that out of there. All right, so that was boxes, and then we have opt-in fields, so you can just drag an opt-in section if you want to, if you don't care about two-step opt-ins. Put a Google map in here if you need that. If you're a brick and mortar business, you can put in social shares if you would like. Just drag them over, put them underneath right here, and then fill them out. And comments. You can have comments show up too for your, let's say you have a video here and you want people to comment. Facebook comments, you can just drag that in and link it up to your Facebook and you're good. And then you've got progress bars. So if I wanted a progress bar, let's say I was halfway through on this, you know, I know on one of my thank you pages, I have a progress bar because I'm part of the Ask method program. And in the Ask method, on step 2, you ask them to fill out a survey. And this little bar is invaluable because it basically says you may not get your download until you finish this. And most people will finish it without even pushing them, which is really nice. So again, you know, you can pick different bars. In fact, I think, let's drag that out here again. I haven't tested this, but why not? We'll just risk it here. So I can drag this over, put it in place, and then let's click on it to see what the choices are. So yeah, I can say, make this one a 75%. And of course I'd have to change this because this is my text, and then apply it, and look at there. It automatically changes it. To me, that's invaluable because I can't count, even with Thrive themes, I don't have that luxury unless they've modified it in their new interface. But I don't have that luxury. I have to go out and find bars that I can modify and adjust. So it's that simple. So they've really, really thought this through, and they've done it right, which obviously I think you're seeing how easy this is to develop. So that's it for components. Let's end this video, and the next window will go into pop-up on a large, we'll just wrap up this area because I think these are really quick. We can do that really quickly. Okay, see you in the next video.